Oh, hey! So this week I decided to join a game jam. If you don't know what that is, a game jam is when a group of game creators come together. There's normally a time frame. This one is 7 days, and you just put together a game from scratch. So I'm pretty early in my game development stages, but I'm really interested in game development. That's definitely something I'm gonna be doing more of on this channel. So for this game jam, basically what I did is I'm using the software application Twine, which is basically an application that you use to make interactive story games. And I'm making an interactive story game on Twine in 1 week. The game jam I joined is the Scream Jam on itch.io. I can link it below in the description. It's a horror game jam, so horror is not really my genre that I write, but I do think it'd be cool to write a horror story and also make it interactive. And by interactive, I mean you, the player, would be able to make different decisions, and those different decisions will change the outcomes of the game. So basically the way that works is Twine allows you to build an interactive story. So basically you have one text option, you have like one text block, and in that text block you have different choices for what the next text block is going to say. And based on which option you pick, the next text option will display. And for my story, it'll have like 6 or 7 endings, some bad endings, some good endings. And for the horror aspect of the game, since I am still very early on in my game development stages, it probably won't be too much audio or anything. But instead, I'll try to use like descriptive language to kind of give like an eerie feeling to the user. So if you want now, I can show you my process of how I kind of like thought of this game, because the one thing about game jams, you don't have a lot of time to think. And I think that could also be helpful for all the writers and creative minds here on how you come up with an idea. So I can kind of show you that process now. Yes, so the game I'm thinking of, I think I'm going to name it Beyond the Woods. The original name was The Campfire, but I changed it to Beyond the Woods. And if you can see here, the way I started this out is I just opened my notebook and just jotted a couple things down. When I come up with a game, I normally like to think of like one thing that I want to focus everything around. That's honestly a pretty good strategy for writing short stories too, I've noticed. But for this game, the central theme or like the central gameplay mechanic I want to focus around is impulsive thoughts. Because I thought of impulsive thoughts can kind of be an interesting way to introduce horror, especially psychological horror, into the game. So instead of having like an external monster, there'll be external threats in the game, but like to your character, the main threat will be impulsive thoughts that randomly come up during the game. And I think I'll have those display in purple, kind of to like identify them. And that'll be an interesting, and like impulsive thoughts will be like your character will randomly have the thought to kill a character. Because in this game, basically what I'm thinking of doing, you can probably read my notes while I'm holding this, but it's basically gonna be like 4 high school friends trekking through the woods, like going camping. And one other gameplay mechanic is going to be that if the campfire goes out, your character will experience more of these impulsive thoughts. And the way the game will work is, because a lot of times I've noticed too, in text-based games, a lot of times people just click through the text really quickly. So the way this will work is if you click on a text option that is an impulsive thought, the game will end. You'll get like an eerie description of death or some sort of gore or something, and the game will end. So yeah, here too is an example of a branching story in case my description earlier was terrible, because I know it was. So basically you would have like the initial text option, and then you would have, based on that, what you chose, you could either go to this option or this option, and then the result after, my game would be more in depth, but you'd eventually end up at either ending A or ending B. So different playthroughs can result in different endings, which makes the game more interesting than like a linear story. When I create a game, I also like to make a list of game features that I want to focus on making, because like with writing, it is very easy to get carried away and add too much, and then you end up with a mess of nothing. So, not to read them all off, but some of the features I want to focus on this game is having different text-based options. I want to work on having descriptive, fear-inducing passages, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to add sound to the game, so the horror from the game is really going to have to come from my writing. One of the other features of this game is your character doesn't have a phone, but it's going to have low battery, so they're not going to be able to use it. Like I mentioned before, there's going to be the impulsive thoughts that end the game and give you different endings. Different variables that just hold how different characters, because there's 4 different characters. So different variables that hold the moods of the different characters. So like if one of them likes you or not, that'll be held in the variable. And yeah, that's kind of the focus here. I also include some stretch goals, because I think it's always good if you complete something early to know what you want to do next. And the stretch goals here is to have the impulsive thoughts be more random. Right now, they would appear in certain parts where I place them, like where I wrote them to the story. But it's nice to have them appear randomly. And also adding sound or basic visuals would be awesome. And yeah, I'm gonna quickly show you guys what I have or sample what I have so far. For that portion of the video, I'm not gonna talk because I've noticed that my audio has been coming out terribly when I've been screen recording. I'm gonna try to get away from that. For future videos, I'm hoping to get my hands on a new headset that will make those audio clips less terrible to listen to. Before I share my screen, let me know if you've ever considered making a text-based game before. Also, give me any thoughts on how I can improve this game I'm working on right now. And if you don't already, be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel because it really helps a lot, especially in these early stages of my YouTube development. Thanks!